It's so beneficent. All praises be to the Most High. What up, Jason D? Street Life. Chris White. I really have no words to describe. Get down, Kevin Brown. Create. Michael Duvall. Lost Soul. I know what it is. I mean, freedom ain't free, right? Hey, Casual, I'ma get in trouble for this one like this, man. It go allegory, nursing these stories. These lines have been inspired by sitting and politicking. We young stormy conversations of returning to greatness, seeing through fakeness, murdering young Mike Brown, testing our patience. We've been slept on, slumbering, vacation, wake up to revolution. Molotov cocktails blazing, straight lies develop.
Welcome to the Hood Revolution, where we're helping overcome our dysfunction. We're a group of idealists who are in a quest for truth in order to challenge and change the societal norms and speak truth to life. I'm Dr. Ranji, almost. And here are my co-hosts.
Hey, I am Sheffy. And I am the resident conservative bully. And I am here with my like-minded cohorts.
Black Mamba is right here, present. I'm the rebel of the group.
I'm the asshole. E-Mac.
Peace, everybody. Kings and queens, gods and goddesses. Please excuse me for not having a video. I am currently on a work site where I am prohibited to actually do video. But anyway, I will be the resident antagonist and conspiracy theorist, where there's nothing I won't discuss, no rock I won't look under. I have a bachelor's in business and a master's in barbering. But I am here with my people to talk to my people. And here we are. Peace.
Peace.
So I'm the facilitator for today. And the topic that I wanted to talk about was social engineering in the arts, images, and media. We talked a little bit about this extensively as a friend group. Our picture starts off with some of the international magazines that are on the stands or have been on the stands in the past. The Vogue one with LeBron James and Giselle, that was in 2008. And the Rolling Stone cover depicts what's going on now in 2020. There have been several images, as we know, throughout history and time. We can start with Birth of a Nation in 1916, and then reclaiming that title with the Nat Turner depiction in 2016, 100 years later exactly. We can go through Amos and Andy, the blackface and minstrel shows that happen throughout time. As we move into the 90s, we have the thug movies, or getting out the hood movies. And even now, this Rolling Stone cover in Vogue in modern times. So we even have a whole bunch of different other depictions that we're battling with as a people, including the first gay superhero is black, even though the first gay superhero in Marvel was Caucasian. The character that the first gay superhero is playing in his movie, which will be the Eternals, that's coming out in 2021. I'm a big movie buff and action movie buff. The big his character is called Fastos, and he wasn't even gay in the comics. The first gay superhero in Marvel, his name is North Star, and he was a Caucasian man. So there is just, and that's throughout, all of our shows. Lovecraft Country, I love it. by Jordan Peele. You know, he's the director. I'm watching it. There are gay depictions there. There are gay depictions in Power. There are gay depictions in a lot of what's going on. And it seems to start with Black men. So we have a lot of different images going on. This week, while we were talking about things, guys, I have been noticing a bunch of stuff. And while I'm watching TV, I love movies, I love images, I love art. And I was watching Black Panther, which is arguably the greatest, one of the greatest Black films ever to grace our eyes. Okay, Black cast, Black director, Black everything, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the Black American man, Killmonger, shoots his woman on the way up. The African man, his enemy, his cousin, his family, his blood, reveres women. Now you have to understand, there was a lot going on when I was watching this for the 14th time I've ever seen it in my life. And I noticed how the depiction of the Black American man, unreasonable, angry, crushed, colonized, conquered, and therefore treats his woman accordingly. Juxtaposed to the African man whose country is uncolonized, unconquered, reveres his women. Now, Killmonger is an enemy in the comics, but comics and live action, they have they can smear the lines. Why decide to put in that the Black African man shoots his woman? She just doesn't disappear into the background or whatever movies can do. He got to shoot her in the head before he gets to the promised land, which is Wakanda forever. So there was just a lot of, it's just a lot of images that I'm noticing, even on our own channel, Oprah owns a channel. Well, she used to before Discovery took it over. And on her show, there's a matchmaking show called Ready to Love.
Ooh wee.
This is a competition. This is not like matchmaking like on Wii. There's Millionaire Matchmaker and she takes backgrounds and she sets up a lovely type of thing where people can be feminine and masculine and meet each other, and there's no harsh, it ain't you. Ready to Love is a straight out competition. First season, they eliminated most of the men, so there were only 3 or 4 of them, and there were like 8 women competing for these 3 men. It was a competition. So
kind of like The Bachelor or something like that?
Well, it was kind of like The Bachelor, yes. It was like The Bachelor, kind of. I guess I said that. Yes. Yeah. But it was a straight up competition. So our conversations have been what this looks like, how this affects, real life. Is this art imitating life or this life imitating art?
So I'll start there. What I would say is, based on the pictures that we looked at, the magazine covers that we looked at, I feel like they're really trying to push that as life, and it is. So it's more like the art is imitating life because that's what we're seeing. So they're really trying to push this agenda to what they want life for everybody to look like. And sadly enough, we're falling into that. And we're kind of starting to mimic these images that they've pushed for maybe the last 20, 30, 40 years. So it's like, it started out as just being images, but now it is turned into real life. Like, because we are actually starting to look like that outside of the image covers or outside the magazine covers. Like, if you look back, you wouldn't have seen that during the civil rights movement, but shortly after the civil rights movement, you begin to see pictures of that. And so people thought that, okay, well, like the one with LeBron James. I'm gonna share my screen again so we could look at the photos. But so now it's been depicted for so long, at least the last 15, 20 years, that anybody who makes it big, especially any man that makes it big, anytime he comes into some money, he needs to have a white woman on his arm. Now, we all know, everybody in the world knows that LeBron James is a happily married man to a beautiful African-American woman with 4 beautiful African-American children.
Yes.
Why would they depict him on this cover with Giselle instead of his own woman? And what does this have to do with fashion at all?
I don't know. I agree. Well, yeah. Well, so my opinion on it is, I feel like that some of the art that we see is real life of what they're showing. I'm gonna go to the Rolling Stones picture, and it's a Black woman and her Black son. There's no imagery of a Black man present. If he is, he's in the background, right? So that's real life, you know. Even interracial dating and all of that stuff is real life. That's what we see all the time, right? Mm-hmm. But maybe the narrative needs to be changed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get what the person was trying to show us in the Rolling Stones, but I'm like, the Black man needs to be present. The man in the house, there needs to be a man present. You know what I'm saying? That's what family is. You know what I'm saying? So we're missing that. We're missing that with our men being present. And then when we do, like Sharon was saying, when we do see our Black men, it's in gay sex scenes on television and
emasculating them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's.
And
I'll be looking at TV like, dang, they look like they really in love. Like, can we get a man? Can I get a man to do that to me?
I mean, I want to reiterate that we don't want to disparage anyone. We don't want to make it seem like we don't want people of all kinds of different backgrounds to come together and be depicted on television programs. I'm also not going to deny that I keep seeing a long line of depictions from Black men or of Black men or with Black men when we haven't established the traditional family dynamic first. We haven't even established that yet. And so here we are depicting Marvel's first openly gay superhero as a Black man.
Right.
Even though that's not what happened in the actual comics.
Right.
Hey, I got a question. Is Killmonger supposed to be gay? Is that what I came in on?
No.
Killmonger's not the gay character, right?
No.
Okay.
There's a new movie called The Eternals. And
okay.
The Eternals are an alien race of humanoid things.
That's why he's gay. That's why he's gay. Okay.
Okay. But the first openly gay, and this is how they're marketing it, okay, out to us. Not real life. They are superheroes, they're fake. But how they're marketing it to us is there's been several articles about the gentleman who's playing the part, which is the supporting actor in Atlanta with Donald Glover. A show called Atlanta. Is everybody familiar?
Donald Glover playing a gay dude?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Donald Glover playing a gay dude?
Okay. No.
No.
The supporting actor in that show, his first name is Brian. I don't know his last name, but his first name is Brian. He is.
Is that the same one that played? Is it the same one that played What White People Say or something? Is that the same dude? The one that played in that show, What White People Think, or something like that. It was some show about, like, he put on a white voice while he was talking to customer service or something. Is that the
Oh,
same
no,
guy?
no.
Okay, well,
No?
Ronnie froze.
Yeah.
So in her,
Not him. Yes,
Hey,
I know what
side
you're talking
note, I'm gonna
about.
use that as
Sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna use
guy.
that as a cover image. But anyway.
At any rate, the guy that's playing the role, which is a really big role. It's a big role to get in a, Marvel movie. There are
They'll probably have
19,
another
20,
one.
23
Yeah.
movies in.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well, here's my thing. Here's my
It's
take
not like
on
he's not
all
going to get
this.
exposure as an actor, black man.
Right. I mean, here's my take on all this. I'm not against, I got everybody, like everybody else. I got family members who are gay, and I'm just as happy to have them in my family as anybody else.
Yeah.
I am cool with that. I don't have a view on the actual act itself. That's your business. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what I'm tired of is I'm tired of it being thrown down my throat. I'm tired of it being given to me in every instance, in unnatural instances. If you really think about it, I don't have to. When I walk out in the real world, I'm not looking around and I just, he gay, he gay. But in every show or every episode or every scene, they just force on you, hey, look at this homosexual activity, or look at this gay activity, or look at this, or look at how this person's acting, or look at what's going on here. I mean, if you want it to be a natural, think about this. They've made the act or an attitude towards homosexuality become a natural part of life, even before making being black in America a natural part of life. Think about that. We're having a civil rights movement in 2020, right?
Still,
and
in 2020.
this civil rights movement has been hijacked by every other category of action. It's been hijacked. It's been hijacked by women empowerment. I'm not against it, but women empowerment. It's been hijacked by the LGBT community. It's been hijacked by every voice but black men.
Right.
Our voices are the ones going unheard. Even the most known face in this whole fight right now. Even though there are men that are on the ground, boots on the ground fighting, the most known face is, what's her name? Tamika something, right? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's the most known face in this whole fight right now.
Yes, I know you're talking about black woman.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so when you say the LeBron James cover with Giselle, it looks like a dark-skinned black man going after a white woman because that's what he wants. To me, it looks like Beauty and the Beast. Right. That's what that's trying to depict. Beauty and the Beast. Just that simple for me.
I agree with Eric on that part because, like, the scenes that he was saying that is kind of forced up on you. Mm-hmm. And I have gay friends, family. I love them all, but the way that they put it in the shows, it's like, well, where did that come from? Like, what does that even have to do with what's going on in the show at the moment?
Storyline.
It doesn't even have nothing to do with the storyline that they got going on. Like just last week in Power, I'm like, what did that have to do with what was going on?
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, and I'll give this example. So, for instance, because me and Sharon talked about this week, we had a conversation, and she was like, "Well, they have their place, and it's not that they have. I get that, like just like
they have their place.
I have no problem with gay people. So, prime example, P Valley, one of my absolute favorite shows. I don't have but going into P Valley, I knew what that was. That was a part of that storyline. Right. The gay agenda was a part of that storyline. And it was the show was about, strippers, and it's about, sex workers. And so that all encompassed that. So I don't have a problem with that narrative in the show. But out of the blue, out of nowhere, we've been watching 7 seasons of Power, and all of a sudden now they just happen to have like, come on now. Like
No,
that's
but like you said, it fit in perfect for P Valley. It really
Hey,
did.
but you know what? You know what's ironic about P Valley though? What's ironic about P Valley is it plays to every single stereotype you could think of. Because not only did they add they add the gay scenes into P Valley, but think about how they did it. They did it with a hard rapper who's supposed to be a gangster, all thugged up and everything, grilled out, tatted up and everything, and he ain't chasing a dude. Well, he ain't chasing a chick. He chasing a dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just the wildest shit. And then
I mean, but that happens in real life, so I don't mind.
No, that's my point, though. That's my point, though.
I know that that's that storyline, so that's fine in that setting. But out of nowhere, in Power and on every other show, no matter what it is, y'all just throw it in there somewhere where it doesn't even fit. Now I feel like I'm being bullied. Hello, posted with this recent social media whole thing. Nobody wants to be bullied, so I feel like I'm being bullied when you do that to me. When you put the gay agenda in every place that I look, I see, I turn, you bullying me. Okay.
Tyler Perry does it real bad in his shows.
And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if Lavina feels bullied, people, there's some bullying going on. Okay, some bullying happening. I want y'all to know that.
It's a problem.
Okay. There's a problem, okay? There is a problem.
Takes a bully to know a bully. So I'm
right. And this is some bull. And peace to the peace to the LGBTQ community. You're watching, that's cool. You are welcome to watch. We all need to talk about this thing, but it ain't no cutting the line. You can't cut the line. This is a civil rights movement, and we've been in line for a long time. Chinese people ain't no cutting the line. Latino Mexican people ain't no cutting the line. Get in the back of the line now. See?
1619.
Get in the back. You know?
Okay,
That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt.
I'm gonna be one of the dissenting voices because I do, yes, and I want to say things like in Power. It went 7 years with nobody depicting that on the screen. So 7 years in isn't necessarily it's everywhere, but when you combine it with everything, and then you combine that with no depictions other than Claire and the Huxtables, right? With solid married couples depicted in art, depicted in life, depicted in media, depicted on social media, without us all waiting for a scandal, what happens then? Well, and I think that's why the homosexual issue might be so big, because like you said, like Earl said, the whole black thing, the whole black family thing, everything is not established yet. So how are we doing the other things so quickly? Other things so quickly when we can't establish mom, dad, family, school, training, legacy, all of these different things.
Hey, Dr. Ron G, I want to say real quick, then I'll defer. But here's the thing. You said it's been 7 years and they had no depiction of homosexuality in Power, right?
Yeah.
It's been 7 years and they had no fucking depiction of a positive black male role model in Power either.
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean,
that's what I was gonna say.
I feel you and everything, but
okay.
Yeah, because I want to go back to Power. When you said that, the depiction in Power, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way when a girl came and stole her husband like that.
Right.
I had issues with that. I was dealing with that. I didn't like Ghost because of that. I did not like Ghost because of that. That he would do his woman like that, his black woman like that.
But it's depicted just like in Wakanda.
But it's real life.
But that's it's depicted in images.
The images of black men, but is it that black men need to change?
And then let's say this. Everybody needs to understand there are trifling white men. There are
Yeah.
trifling Mexican men. There are
Yeah.
trifling Chinese men, German men. There are trifling black men. But here's the thing. We being ganged up on. Even when we look at the Rolling Stone picture, now I'm not trying to play victim. I can be objective because I got some friends. Well, they might not be my friends now, but I know some black associates, males who ain't shit. And I tell them, I'm like, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, straight up. Do you at this age? I ain't got no patience for the. When I was 20, cool. We all trying to learn. Listen, you on that bullshit now? It's 20 years later, bro. Here's the thing. Even on that Rolling Stone cover, I looked at it very closely.
Yeah.
Look through that Rolling Stone cover. There is not really a strong black man in that crowd. The only black man is being memorialized on a T-shirt.
Dead.
There are white men, there are Mexican men out there,
Yep.
they in the forefront. But if you look at that picture, it ain't no strong black men out there. And that's ridiculous. We're being depicted on some bull.
Yeah.
But and can we talk about this also? So the creator or the illustrator or the artist of that Rolling Stone cover is a black man.
It's a black man.
So that's the scary part, because what does that say? How does that say black men feel about themselves?
Is he gay?
Clearly,
Well, maybe that's what he sees, though.
yeah, I get that's what you see, but how does that make you feel about you? You're a black man, you're an artist. And did this company, did Rolling Stone, come to him and say, hey, we need you to create this artwork, and he just did it because they paid him to do it? Or did they ask him to depict did they give him a scenario and he created, that's the portrait that he came up with from the description that they gave him? Because that could go one or two ways. Like if they ask for a specific thing, then I can see, okay, this is what they wanted, so they paid me to do a job. Versus this is what we're trying to portray. Create something that says this, and that's the narrative that he created, versus based on what they described to them that they wanted. So, like I was telling Sharon, I would be very interested in talking to that artist because I wanted to see where his frame of mind was. And then too, knowing that he's married to what you said, he's married to a biracial woman, or he's married to, she's biracial.
Someone that looks racially ambiguous. Let's just say that.
So do he got some identity thing with his head, huh? Yeah, it's all very interesting because I'm like, my first mind's like, nigga, where you come up with this from? Strong black man yourself, because why would you create this image?
But again, is that art imitating life, or life imitating art?
No, that's an agenda being hijacked. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Because
that's
realize
an agenda being
Almost like
hijacked.
promoting propaganda, like
Exactly.
Man, look here. I just watched the movie. Anybody ever seen the movie Antebellum? There's a new movie called Antebellum.
I didn't watch
it.
With Janelle Monáe in it.
Yep.
I haven't seen it yet, but I know the spoiler alert.
I'm finna
Spoiler alert.
for you.
Spoiler alert.
I heard that it was a horror
now
movie.
in this movie,
so you just got a link because I need.
Listen to Eric. Listen to Eric. But listen
it's a horror movie. It's a horrible movie. It is horrible, absolutely horrible. But here's the thing: in this movie, there's a scene where she is fighting this white dude he's a Confederate like soldier dude, right? And the black dude in the scene, he gets knocked down, and for whatever reason, he got pushed down, and he just out of it, can't do anything. She gets tossed across the room. She jumping up, grabbing everything else. She stabbed the dude with a hatchet in the heart and everything. Black dude just over there, just still out of it, trying to gather himself. I mean, it's just not it. But the overall, you can see the agenda is to make her look all powerful and to make him look absolutely weak.
That's what happened in us. That's what happened in us.
That's what's going on.
Exactly.
Our movement, our life,
that's what happened in
everything.
us.
In the 70s, we were put in prison. We were taken away from families. Now it's just, let's make this motherfucker a non-motherfucking factor. Let's make women more attracted to women than they are to men, to the black male, because the black male disgusts them. So I mean, we're becoming a non-motherfucking factor. And I say that to these young motherfuckers walking around. Like, bro, it's a chick over there that's harder than you. And I don't mean that from the standpoint of tough, but I'm like, she looks more masculine than you do. You know what I mean? And that's what's going on with this generation. And it's being done, it's been shoved down our throat on TV. It's being shoved in the music we listen to. It's being, I mean, if you think about it, every song by a female objectifies sex. Every song by a male objectifies drug use. And putting you in a mind state of just being just zoned out, right?
I was watching a documentary that said that the music, the environment, the social media presence, all of this stuff is increasing adolescence till 35 years old. So that when a grown black man at 35 wakes up from the adolescence, you ain't got nothing. You don't have any structure. You haven't created a foundation to start anything, because the start life of a man is around 35. Okay, you fully grown mentally, emotionally. At least you're supposed to be. At least you're supposed to be. Okay,
about 35.
Right, 35 years old, a grown man should have gotten everything, all that little, adolescent stuff out, the girls, the partying, the shirking off responsibility in a way, blah, 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 blah. By
That's like 6
you're
different things.
ready.
That's like 6 different things you just mentioned. Like
no,
like,
I know that, but listen.
Each other.
No, that's not necessarily true. So just listen to let me finish, and then you can say what you want. So
right.
The documentary, this is what the documentary said. The documentary said this was by a black rapper,
woman?
One of our old forget what the documentary name is. I need to look that up. But he said the adolescence is extended now to about 35 years old, and it's programmed. And where is it coming from? The social media, all the images that happens with young men and young women. And by that time they wake up, it's 35 years old. Now focus on the men, because the women aren't the backbone. We are not the backbone. Men are the backbone of every society, every civilization. It is what it is. And so in order, if adolescence is stretched out till 35, what's happening to the civilization? What's happening to the culture? What's happening to the individuals and therefore the family that reside under that? That was a black man that said that. I didn't say that adolescence was stretched out to 35 with the rapping and the weeding and the, and the drinking and the sexing everybody and the, blah, 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 and everything that some of the rap culture has promoted. And then he went into how the white executives who are in charge of the rap culture demand it. And if you try to do something different than that, then you are not promoted. You are forgotten about. You are left behind. You know what I'm saying? Which is why every one of our great rappers, even like Jay-Z, even like Biggie, always talked about the streets.
You said great rappers.
Tupac.
Why you mention them? Oh, okay.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? Tupac. Okay. Eazy-E. Scarface. I'm just saying, everybody has their own favorite rapper. I am trying to be all inclusive. You chill. Okay. So what
you like America? You like America and TV right now. You're trying to include everything.
I know. I'm talking about Eazy-E and stuff.
But what was their first rap? Their first raps was about the streets, was about, bitches and hoes, was about blah, 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 blah.
That was not my first raps.
You, what?
I'm a little bit. I know I'm a little older, but back in the day when we were listening to rap, it was more conscious music. So I was listening it was way more conscious with EMPD, Public Enemy.
Public Enemy, yeah.
Yeah.
Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
Tribe Called Quest, yeah.
They was rapping about positivity.
Yes.
Amongst us and coming together and trying to overcome some of those things.
Right.
Because
And
truth be
like,
told, my
But
bad, my
Tribe
bad.
Called Quest is not included in the great rappers when you talk to anyone.
but Tupac was, and he talked about
Tupac was.
Now
everything.
see, we
Tupac
getting
Yeah.
was.
great, we getting great and popular rappers mixed up.
That's right.
We getting
That's
that
right.
mixed up. Because I'm gonna
But
tell
that's
you
all
now,
about
Talking about
images.
even though
Tribe Called
that
Quest, one of the greats.
NWA and them came along to tell the truth.
NWA.
Remember when they were
I love
saying that
NWA.
we had conscious rappers, right? We had PE, we had KRS-One, we had, I mean, we had all kind of positive rappers. Here's the thing, I'm gonna tell the truth about it. Even though they were popular and they were telling their truth from their experiences, the music changed up when NWA hit.
Yeah.
That's when it changed up. That wave totally
Yeah.
changed. And everybody
Yeah.
started investing in the gangster
Gangsta
rap
rap.
culture. And then we started putting equity in it and started listening to it. Then it was pushed on us. Whole thing changed up.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Earl? You know what's funny, Earl? Is that the
What's
reason
up?
NWA did it was not just because they were speaking their truth in the life, but it was
Mm-hmm.
their way of boycotting what was happening in life.
They
It was
were.
their way of
They
bringing the
were.
message to the. So
Mm-hmm.
their version of it was actually conscious rap. If you really
It
think about it,
is. It
they were
is.
just telling it from the streets. What
It,
we
it
have
is.
now is not conscious rap. This shit is intoxicated rap. You know,
Right.
it's the same fucking message on repeat over and over and over and over and over. Molly X Perk, get money. Molly X Perk, get money. It's the same fucking message on repeat. And you got so many people claiming to be. Think about this. Our young rappers now are wearing the fact that they can sell drugs as a badge of honor. It's like, oh, you ain't cool till you talk about moving weight in your
Ridiculous.
song. And if you listen to it, ain't none of them motherfuckers talking about moving weight the way it's really done. They telling you somebody
Right. They
else's
don't even know
story.
what they doing. That's the
They were
other
telling you
part.
somebody
Well,
else's
wow.
story.
Right. Right. And then
Okay.
and then like you said, E, like NWA, they were conscious, like they were telling from their perspective, but it was still conscious. I believe as they went along, and what was his name, Harrell, and in the commercialized white corporation, the
Yeah.
more they kept giving them money, the more they kept making money. They started to tell them, listen, this is the kind of music we need. This is what's selling. We need y'all to push this. Forget the respect yourselves. Forget all that conscious. This is what's selling. This is what's making the money.
Yeah.
And then they just went a different. They got infiltrated.
They did.
So
They started changing
And
the
that's why
narrative
Ice
for
Cube.
us. They
That's why Ice Cube.
started changing the narrative for us. They said we don't want black people to have positive black images.
exactly.
We want them to get on this stage and be buffoonery and show their ass. And that's what it got into. That's what it got into. They no longer wanted to see us unite and to grow and to build together. So they tore us apart just like they did with slavery. They saw that what they did in slavery was starting to wear off. And so they had to
Create
change
a new path.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, even with the cover, taking it back to the Giselle and LeBron cover, you know, LeBron may be, you know, in this era, the most dominant basketball player on the planet, you know, but is he the most polarizing sports figure? I mean, basketball wise, yeah. But if you look at a lot of different sports over the time period, 2008 was when that was there, man, you still had Kobe Bryant as the most polarizing basketball player in the NBA during that time. I mean, you can look at other sports. I mean, there are a ton of people that they could have put on that cover. I think they chose LeBron for the simple fact that he was part of a strong black family, for one. The other fact is his darker skin. So he fits that mold of being that beast that they need because that's how you see him on the court. All they talk about with LeBron on the basketball court, he's so much bigger than everybody. He's so much faster than everybody. You know, that's always the narrative. So I think the way that we are marketed or the way that things are marketed in our society, it's about stealing our culture, using what they steal to promote whatever product they want to do, whatever brand they want to move. But at the same time, they don't want to give us that recognition for what our culture has brought to the table. So you do stuff like infiltrate the culture with a white woman, or you do stuff like infiltrate the culture by showing homosexuality. You do things like that because now they're showing us on TV more, but they're still showing us in negative roles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
True that.
I agree with that.
So the bigger question is, these images are out there. How does that affect us as a people? Because we are still in infancy. I'm gonna just say it. us as a culture, we don't have a political force. We don't have an economic force.
Yeah.
We don't have. How does the images that we see every day affect us on a man and woman level? Affect us on a kid level? And because it's happening. So and I still can't answer the question. Is it art imitating life or life imitating art? Or is it both?
Yeah, I think
And how
it's
do
both.
we,
So
because we're still not having, we as a political force happens when you create families, and those families create connections. That's how it is worked throughout all of history. So are those images stopping us from being who we should be, country and abroad? Is that what's stopping us? Or is that one of the reasons that's stopping us?
It's definitely one of the reasons, because I see it as art is lying on life.
it is.
It's lying on life, because you know what? We don't control any of the conduits. We don't control that.
Nothing.
So it's art lying on life. And if I grew up as a kid, like you said, we grew up on conscious rap. But if I'm a kid, like my daughter, if I don't really watch what she's watching on, they don't have you on TV raps. They don't have The Basement.
No, they
They don't
don't.
have, if I don't really monitor her, she done came into this life on Meg Thee Stallion. She done came into this life on this guy shooting Meg Thee Stallion. These
guys shooting Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say his name, 'cause that's a punk ass move. That's just weak. That's just weak. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna shoot a girl a woman in the foot? Get out of here. But this is what she's coming in on, though. This is what she's coming in on. And so it's art lying on life, and it is affecting us big time. That's what I think.
I want to chime in on what Earl said. My daughter had a project for school last week in class, and the teacher wanted to know, what artists motivated them to do whatever they do. And I was in the shower, and my daughter's like, I picked the City Girls. And I was like, what? I had to come out the shower like,
you should have.
I was like, why did you pick them? Like, that's not nothing you play in school. She was like, I don't know, like when I listen to City Girls, they just make me want to get up on my grind, get my money up. I was like,
who the hell is the City Girls? Who the hell is the City Girls?
You show your age for real, bro.
You don't know
really? I work
City
jobs,
Girls,
bitch, I am a job.
Oh, I hear the song, but I don't know what the hell it is. Yeah.
I mean, I get you, because it's not hot. It's not hot.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. I get it.
I mean, I hear the song on the radio, but I got you. I got you now.
Y'all ain't right. Don't do that. And y'all know that the ladies is dominating the music scene at the moment. Okay.
Because they're pushing it. Because they push it. That's why. It's a machine behind it.
Look, no, they're playing to sexual gratification of a male. That's it.
That's
so
right.
I mean, yeah, it's dominating.
So the hottest women are hold out. And that's the crazy thing, because we grew up on Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. I remember their videos, Vision of Love, way back then. All Whitney's, be your baby tonight. They wasn't naked.
That's when they just
wasn't hold out.
Well, even the R&B songs that we listen to versus, because to me, Tyrese them was talking something different. You know what I'm saying? Would you be my love for a lifetime?
That's
and
right.
Now, when you listen to
they were of the
Chris Brown, like your privacy, what's up?
But Cherie, you so right, because I was telling somebody the other day that Chris Brown started a song with dancing naked in the living room. I'm like, whoa, where do you go from there? Where do you go from there? Like, we didn't even build up to it. It started out like that. Like, come on.
Even Miguel, how many drinks does it take?
Well, at least he's getting us some drinks. I mean, at least he's
That's
trying to order.
that
At
I
sound.
least
mean,
he done
Hey,
fed me and I
that
had some
sound like
chicken
that
wings.
sound.
at least
That
he's trying to
sound like.
feel up to it.
Hey, that sound like daybreak.
That might get you something, huh? A drink might get you
I
something.
mean, get your little. It's a good start. Then you just start out dancing naked. Like, wait a minute. Like, let me get your oil up first. At least make him pay something.
So I have a real question. I have a real question with this week's topic and us thinking about, me thinking about, what this really, really means. And I want to know your guys' thoughts. I have my thoughts, but I want your guys' thoughts on what you think these kind of images have had an influence on the masculine and feminine roles when it comes to marriage, raising kids, because that's what makes a legacy move forward, is both working together, cooperation, submission on both ends, what education, financial stability, generational wealth. What do these images do, or how have these images contributed? Looking at that Wakanda thing, especially looking at that Black Panther thing, because I'd never seen that before. I've seen that movie 10 times since it came out, and I had never even noticed that before, that the juxtaposition of the two men and how they treated their women and how they treated their families and how they treated their nation. And so what does that look like for us now? Does that, in my mind, that creates not only a bunch of what the media would call riffraff, because that's what, people are going to be bombarded with, and a lot of people aren't going to be able to move above that. But that also creates people who vibrate higher arrogance, because you think I'm not that. So what does that translate into when we're trying to build an empire? And the only way to build an empire is through each other. The only way to get our people back on track is through each other.
True.
I'm just asking what that looks like. What that looks like now, how that has affected it now. You know what I'm saying? And because in order to fix it, we have to identify what the problem is. One of the problems is images. How has images affect how we relate to each other, man and woman relationship, family, legacy, wealth, moving on?
Okay.
Well, so
Good.
my thought about that is just like, in order for this to become so your initial question was, is this real life being portrayed in art, or is this art being portrayed in real life? So just like initially, this was not real life, this was not happening, but artists was creating this. So, and the narrative changed. So now we're kind of torn because, well, it really is, this stuff really is happening. So it is kind of, it's real life. So it's art. So we start changing the narrative in the art that we put out. We put it to pen and paper. We change the movies that we're watching. We change the music that we're listening to. We change, the voice, we change everything in art, and then it becomes, it becomes a thing to watch. It becomes a thing to see. So we change the narrative by changing the art, the depictions. Simple. I mean, it sounds simple.
I'm going to challenge you, because I want to challenge you, Bina, by saying that you say, okay, we change what we watch, and I want to repeat what you're saying so I make sure I get it correctly. We change what we watch, and that will help to be able to motivate to change the depictions in art. Okay. Right. Now we have a film, and I want to bring up Wakanda forever. Once again, because that is one of the greatest Black movies ever made in time.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's not a
it's
Black
still
movie, though.
there. It's
not a Black
still
movie, though.
there. Speak,
It's a
Eric.
Disney movie.
No, speak, Eric. Speak, Eric.
It's not a Black movie. It depicts it is a great positive depiction of Black people, but it's not a Black movie. See, the funniest part about all this is the movie industry itself, who promotes all this stuff, right? Considering that there's not one Black film that has ever lost money, not one Black film that has ever been made that has lost money, yet they don't put money behind Black films. Most true Black filmmakers have to fund those films themselves or find ways to fund those films. And they do it at a cost of, say, like $5 million to make a movie, whereas Hollywood is spending $200 million to make a movie. Mm-hmm. But our movies are grossing the same kind of numbers, but our movies aren't seeing the same type of recognition at the Oscars, at the Grammys, at all other white nominations that are out there. They aren't seeing that same resolve. So when we say Wakanda, cool with that, good with that, great, great depiction, all the good stuff. But if you look at what America puts forward as a Black successful male, it's a gangster, some type of gangster. Because if you look at all the Black men in the shows that are popular for us, they are all gangsters. They all doing something gang related or gangster related, right?
Very true.
And if you look at what America puts forward for a white male, he's a family man that's going out and building through business and his intellect, whereas we build through our savagery and our street smarts. So, I mean, is it art imitating life or is it life imitating art? I would go with the term and say it's both. It's life being made to be art and art being made out of life. I mean,
so that's now why we have to change. We have to start with the narrative of art. It's highly introduced in art, where no matter what the art form is, whether it's music, whether it's television, whether it's whatever it is. So we have to infiltrate art to change our narrative, because people are sight driven. So we're very sensitive to what we see, what we hear. So we have to change it there in order to see change actually occur in the real world.
Right, because in America, through the images, we have told the rest of the world that Black men don't have a backbone and women are the backbone of the community. Right.
Yeah,
and we're
in
and
America.
And I said in America. I said in America.
But you got to stress that America. You got to stress that because America. You know what I'm saying?
So that's what we've told the rest of the world through these images, through these films, because these films have been translated. This art has been rolling. You think Rolling Stone doesn't show up in England?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This kind of thing. So I'm trying to.
But it's more. I mean, I feel like art is a start, but
life is real.
Yeah, but I feel like that it just should be more to change the narrative of the Black man being present in the home. It's gonna take more than art.
Yeah.
Naturally, it's gonna take more than that, but because
it's a start.
Yeah, because we're so sensitive to we're so in tune with our senses. I think that's a great place to start. Yeah. Because when you see it every day and you hear it every day, and it's constantly being driven, it becomes embedded into your mind. So you begin to act different. You begin to think different. You begin to move different. So that's a good starting place. What I see every day is what I try to migrate to. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's why me personally, I don't watch a lot of TV just because that's what television has come to. I don't want all of those negative images in my head, and most people think it's the craziest thing, but I don't watch a lot of television. I don't, most of the music that I listen to is old school music. I make playlists still. I'm that chick. Like, I don't want all these empty thoughts in my head. Like this, most of this stuff is garbage. I don't want that to be garbage. I feel like garbage in, garbage out. So.
And the people is speaking on a diet. She's speaking on the diet. Whatever you take in is what you're pretty much going to put out. So she's speaking about a mental, emotional, developing diet for our culture. And and so art and depictions are a great place to start, which is why I think they put so much money into Hollywood, which is why I think Super Bowl commercials cost millions of dollars.
You know it, you don't think it, you know it. You know you right. You know you right.
That's why we put all that money in that. So it's a great place to start because our diet of what we take in every day will start to reflect in real life. It really will. And just as far as like, you know, what a place to start, that's a good place to start. But just even working at being a barber, shout out to 180V, Kansas City, Missouri, 18 and Vine. What's up? Hey. Cuts, all that. The thing is I would see I would get a sample of what's going on in our culture because people don't know that a cornerstone of a Black community is just as much of the barbershop as it is the church. Yeah. Because we see all of our brothers come through there. We see single mothers come through there with their sons. Yeah. We see, and so what we get a chance to do is we would take the opportunity. We didn't have any TVs in there. All we had was music. And we picked the music because we have Pandora, Spotify, all of that. Mm-hmm. So for that little bit of time, those young men and those Black women were in there. And I mean, preachers, reverends, councilmen, whatever from all walks of Black culture life was in there. But especially the young men, we would take that time to talk to them about different options, to show them actually Black men in another dynamic other than drug dealer, actually making and thriving on some kind of money. You know what I'm saying? So we would take time to try to change their way of thinking and to actually show them like, bro, this is a diet you're not being fed. Right. You know, this is what it looks like. It looks like this. You know what I mean? So yeah, good stuff.
I applaud that effort, Earl. I applaud that effort.
That's what I say. Amen to y'all.
Because I'm big on being intentional about the things that I do, the things that I say, the things that I like, everything. So I'm even that much intentional about what I put into me. And before people often suggest, well, have you seen such and such, or do you watch this? And I always say my initial response is, well, I'll check it out and I'll see how my spirit feels about that. Because if I don't feel like my spirit can handle it, and that's not even coming from a Christian or a religious point of view. That's it. Can my spirit handle this? What is this programming going to do for me? Is it going to make me a better person? Is it going to change my thought process positively? Or is it going to impact it negatively? Is it going to be just a bunch of nonsense? So me personally, that's what I do. And that's how I monitor what I'm going to watch, what I'm going to listen to. Here lately, I'm mostly watching things or listening to things on YouTube and different podcasts because I'm at a space. We're in a crazy political climate. We're in the midst of a pandemic. It's so much going on in the world. Like, it's a bunch of nonsense, garbage, uncertainties. And so I don't want my mind, my spiritual self, to be bogged down with all of that, including, and I want to be able to be the best me I can be to affect my community. So that being said, with this whole thing, with this imagery or the things that I'm taking in, are they going to help me to change to be able to be the person that has a solution to these problems in my community? Because if a lot of these things aren't, then I don't even want to bother myself with it. I just want to take in the positive things so that I can, because like this is a huge problem. And we want to get to where we are changing this narrative. And I don't want to be the person that just sits by and just watches it and talks about it on the podcast. I want to be the person in my community that invokes change in things like this. And so it's like, go ahead.
I love that. No, you go ahead, Eric.
My bad. I was just going to say, that's so beautiful. I almost feel bad about being an asshole here. I want to know how. I want to know how P Valley fall into this conversation.
You
watch what you take in. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell P Valley falls into that.
And
I mean, I'm a
am
balanced person. That's everybody. There has to be balance. Okay, so without the good I watch, there has to be some. I have to have some type of entertainment. So
And
That
I-
damn
that's
show
the show
balances
that
it
I.
out.
Yeah.
That damn show balances it out.
I'm gonna say something. And I love what Vina is saying. We share a lot of the same mind, which is probably why we've been friends for so long. And I get that. I'm tired of women doing it, and I'm tired of seeing it. And that's just the truth. I'm tired of women. I'm tired. I'm tired of women. I'm tired of the word feminism. I'm tired of all of that. I want to know truly inside of a man's mind, because look, this is the truth. Since the 70s, we've been in charge, and I mean women. We've been in charge, and we cannot combat the images. If we could, we wouldn't be in the state we're in. And that's just the truth. I don't care whose fault it is. I ain't talking about fault. I ain't talking about blame. I'm talking about the state of affairs right now. We are women-led. This ain't working. And the images are really towards Black men. They include Black women, but they are geared towards Black men. Every single one of the images that we have talked about purposely dismissed, disappeared, put down, compared to King Kong. I mean, I know it's King Kong, but it's still a motherfucking animal.
Right.
I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't. When they don't put white men there. They don't put Hispanic men there. They put them on top of a building or taking over the world, or they don't compare them to no big ass monkey on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm tired of women. I'm tired of us. I'm tired of me. I'm tired of y'all. What are, and I'm curious to know inside of, because it starts with each individual man who then become a collective together to work on it and to raise the image that despite what might be on the TV and in art and on the magazines and in music, all the things that we talked about, what combats that? And I guess we're getting to the solution part of our program, because what is going to combat that? Because it's geared towards Black men, but as a Black woman, I need a Black man, one, to sire children, two, to stay. It's a 30-year commitment to raise children. 30 years. You understand? And there are things that are happening because of all the images, and we started back even in 1916, but we know it started way before then. So
it's not no one solution. I mean, it's not a one solution, and we ain't gonna. I mean, it's a collective of a bunch of different things. Like B was saying, first changing up the imagery that we see, what we're putting into our minds, and what we're putting out, know. So that's a big deal.
There are outlets out there where we can start to change the imagery. We're going to be on a couple of them. The iHeartRadio thing by Charlamagne the God, that I'm sure that's great. The Yahoo thing with the $100 million for Black entertainment, that's going to help. Just to be able to put stuff out there, and I totally get that. Every Black caucus in your city does networking where you can create, you know what I'm saying, a different kind of image, and then create a political and economic force that might enact change when you need it on a bigger scale. So those things are happening. Are they happening in our homes?
So what I will say to that is, personally, I feel like, because I get the whole feminist movement. I'm not a feminist
Yeah,
at
no.
all. I'm so against that. That's not me at all. Like,
I'm so against.
I won't use my words to say how I feel about those people.
That's another show. That's another show. That's another show.
But me personally, so it bothers me to see women with that have guys, whether it be their husband or their boyfriend or somebody they're dating. It bothers me to see a woman to emasculate a man in public. So if I'm in company of a person that does that, I say something to that woman in that moment. Hey, why are you putting that? That's not, that's unhealthy. That's unacceptable. Why would you do that? Why are you emasculating this man in front of these people? And even so, why would you even do that inside your own home? So I personally I'll say something to that. So we as women, we need to hold each other accountable. Let's allow these men to step up. Let's allow these men to step up. Don't do it, Eric. Don't do it. Please, please don't make me emasculate you on this show.
Bully. She's a bully.
Like, well, since you want to go there,
don't make me emasculate you in front of these folks. Please don't do that.
She's a bully.
But no, so I'm very intentional about those conversations. I'm very intentional about pushing men to the forefront and saying, hey, this is your role. This is where you're supposed to soar. This is where you're supposed to lead. This is where you're supposed to be in charge. I need you to stand up and I need you to do that. And if you have, maybe you're afraid to do it. I don't know. Maybe you don't know how to do it. I will back you, but I need you to lead. I need to push. You need to be the lead position in this role. So I personally don't have a problem with that, and I'm very intentional about doing that. And I think if a lot more Black women would take that same stand, then we could push the Black men back into the lead, and we can rise up. But hey, that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself.
That's what I'm about to say. Showing men accountability. I'm like,
yeah.
And women being accountable.
Yeah. I mean, but I think as women, we have to hold one another accountable to that too.
We go to the side chick too much. We go to the side chick thing too much. I'm done with that, but that's another conversation.
It is another conversation. But if she's saying that women need to start holding men accountable, that is one way.
And we also need to be holding
that you don't allow
it.
That you don't allow it.
True.
Oh, you said what?
I think you all are making some very valid and very well articulated points in this conversation. I think that when it comes to what do we do as men, I think that there are options that are out there that are being pushed to the background of the agenda right now. So you don't know of their presence. There's a group that meets, like in the Texas area. There's a group called the Gentlemen's Roundtable that meets. It meets in Cedar Hill at a smoking lounge. Meets in Cedar Hill at a smoking lounge. And when I went, I attended a couple of their meetings. And in this, you get a synergistic push from everybody inside that group. You got businessmen who are on city council. You got businessmen who own stores, they own logistics companies. Some of them own telecom locations where they're selling cell phones for AT&T and stuff like that, but they own them. Some of them own bakeries. Some of them own diners, cafes. Some of them own car dealerships. I mean, but this was a group of well put together males. And when you see some of them ride in on motorcycles looking like any other person out on the street or anything else, but this is a group of guys who meet and they do events in neighborhoods all around Oak Cliff, all around Fort Worth, but you don't see that because it doesn't make news. It doesn't make news because it doesn't push the agenda that's at the forefront right now. So because of that, we say things like, men need to come forward and take the lead on this, or men need to do this, when in actuality, there are a lot of men who are doing it. I do a feed the homeless. I had one last year. I've had one at the beginning of this year where I just go out of my pocket and buy food and go out and set up and feed the homeless. There are laws against you being able to do that though.
Yes.
Like there are
Yeah,
laws
food
against you
laws.
being able to do
Yeah.
that. There are laws against you being able to pass food out to people who need
Yep.
it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So there are a lot of
Mhm.
different things that are a lot of different obstacles out there that I think we need to educate ourselves to. What we really need, we need men and women of all to take ownership of the legal system, of
Mhm.
the medical system, because right now, it's like I said once before, if Walmart stops selling products and food to black people, what will we do? We don't grow shit no more.
Mhm.
You know, what doctor would we go to? You know, we don't
I don't know.
have,
I don't go to
they don't have,
Walmart.
but my point is, you know, we don't own any of that shit. We don't know how to do any of the things our ancestors used to do. We don't have a financial institution set up.
Yeah.
We don't have an agriculture institution set up. We don't have any of the things that make you a successful society set up. So
why?
those are the things we need to do.
Why don't we have it? In order to identify, because let me tell you something. That happened in the 1920s, where
What are we
our
talking
Black
about?
Wall
Black
Street
Wall
went
Street?
in now.
Yeah.
So 100
Tulsa,
years
Oklahoma.
later, 100
Tulsa,
years
Oklahoma.
later, that's right. 100 years later, why haven't black
had it
men
before.
started a Black Wall Street again?
No, you've had numerous instances of that exact same thing that have all resulted in the exact same thing. You've had numerous instances of a society trying to be built that
Yeah.
is set up on black culture that was then torn down by city government or legislature, which prevented it. In Texas, an example, Como. There's an area in Fort Worth, Texas called Como that is 99. What at one point was 99.9% black. That whole community prevented a whole toll road from going through there because the community stood together.
Mm-hmm.
And now that community is being gentrified. Now they're bringing in new developments. They're slowly, because the group that live there, the 60s and 70-year-olds that live there now are starting to die off, and their kids are inheriting their houses. And instead of them keeping those houses, because this generation moves around a lot, instead of them keeping those houses, they're selling those houses. And so now those same developers that couldn't get those houses in the past are now coming in and buying those houses, and they're redeveloping those areas. So every time we set up a society, somebody comes and tears that society away. And the one key to all of this is the family unit, because that's the thing that's missing. The thing that's missing here is that back then we had this thing called, you remember the old saying, and I know you probably don't, Dr. Ron G, because you're a little young for this one, but it takes a village to raise a kid. That was a popular saying back in the day. And you had like, when I got in trouble in school, my mom wasn't the only person that whooped my ass.
That's
Damn,
right.
nigga got a whooping from the whole damn neighborhood on the way home.
Right.
And then my mom got on my ass because she like, all these motherfuckers know you got in trouble and had to whoop your ass. So I'm gonna whoop your ass, because they had, but that village we no longer have. That village mentality we no longer have. We survived. Our ancestors survived slavery because of that village mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We work together to build things. Now, shit, you can live next to a bunch of black people and tell me how many of them you know.
But how do we change that? Because are you saying that the only way for us to get to the next point is to recreate, that village mentality?
We have to.
Then tell us how, because that comes to you. That comes to you.
No group on this planet is successful. No group on this planet is successful without connections and connections to each other.
That's
no
right.
group on this planet.
That's right.
And this is the other. First off, we as a culture, as a community, we're concentrating on the wrong things. And this is what I mean by that. Right now, to America, we're like adolescents begging for attention.
Yeah.
We're not, now we deserve what we deserve, but this is what I'm saying. We need to listen, y'all don't want us here. Y'all showing us through art, through TV. Y'all show us y'all want black males weakened as leaders of the black community, as leaders of the family. Yeah, what y'all saying is, if you don't want me here, you're trying to eliminate or take over, infiltrate the black culture. So if you don't want me here, fine, I won't be here. Guess what? You won't see my vote. You don't want me here? We're not here. Forget about that. How about we concentrate on us? We concentrate on our money, on our community, on our local politics that affect us immediately because, like I have mentioned before, the Asian community has the lowest voter turnout among all races in all ethnicities, but they are like second to the white people in America in economic prosperity.
That's
you know
right.
why? Because they understand they're not
Because
here
they
for
vote as
everybody
one.
else. They're here for them.
They vote as one. That's
They're
right.
here for them. They're not worried about their vote.
Nobody
They're not
else.
worried about what they think about them.
Exactly.
But see, we're like adolescents worried about what they
want
think about
attention.
us.
We want them to accept us.
Me. So that turns us
We
in
want
not
them
for
to accept
fighting.
us.
Right, we're not fighting for our liberation. We're begging for it.
Yeah.
You know what? Fine. You don't want me here. You know what? You pushing me. Let me use your force against you. Let me move out the way. You can fall your ass on the floor, and I'm gonna go over here with my people, and I'm gonna build right with my people.
Right.
I'm not worried about you no more because you're not worried about me.
That's
Well,
where I'm at with it.
You might end up missing me. You might miss me. Who knows?
Right.
Oh, you
trust
definitely
me, if
gonna
we
miss.
got on that accord, they will miss us because
gonna
we're
miss
what?
us.
Right. So
Yeah.
with that being said, in the Chinese community, their money circulates in their community 10 times before it leaves.
Yeah.
We don't even get a circulation.
And,
Ours is 2 cents out of every dollar.
More importantly, I think we as a people don't even realize how forceful we are because we change laws like that. Let me give you an example. When the Black Panther Party decided to take up arms publicly, legally, and inspired a whole nation of Black men to do the same, they changed the laws real quick, starting in California, and it moved through the country about what was legal to carry arms and what was not. Before, when we didn't know. So we changed laws like that.
Right.
Real quickly.
They did
with the right information.
But I'm in agreement with Earl because I know me. I've personally, for the last 6 months, I've been very intentional about spending my money with Black people.
Yeah, money is
outside of the grocery store. I've pretty much all the restaurants I've eaten at have been Black. I shop with my Black friends at Black boutiques. I haven't been in the mall in God knows when. The last time I hadn't been in the mall in eons until I went up to Kansas City with Cherie, but I have been very intentional on spending my money with Black people. And outside of the pharmaceuticals I have to buy, for my drug, but I kept a record of it. So I was like, okay, I've been really I always check first and see who the owner is, and I've been intentional in doing that. And I think if we can get other people on board with that and us supporting one another, then we can regain a sense of self. And it's not to say that, okay, we hate all white people or we hate all these other races. We don't, but we're the only group of people within the United States that does not have a sense of self, where we put self first outside of other people.
No political
we don't.
force. No
Lavinia,
economic
you're absolutely right. I don't hate other races. I just don't give a fuck about them. I mean, that's the reality of it. For me, I mean, I think because I once said what I would love to see is take a whole, build our own community. Everybody go out and buy, 5-10 acres of land all in the same area. They don't want us in their communities. All right, let's all go out and buy 5 to 10 acres of land all in the same area, and let's get
build a pond.
400,000 Black people living around, and then do exactly what they did. Sit there and put a fence around it the same way. We can't discriminate and say no white people can't live there, but I promise you they ain't gonna want to live there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then we can set our own standards, our own rooms, and then do there's a place in Granbury, Texas, and there's a community there that has a bank. They have a movie theater. They have grocery stores, gas stations, all inside this one. It's called Pecan Valley. They have their own. They don't even have to leave this motherfucker for anything. Literally. In the neighborhood,
crisis hit, they don't have to leave.
They don't have to leave. It takes you to drive across that. To drive across that takes almost 45 minutes to drive all the way across it. The complex, and it's just houses. And like I said, they got a shopping center right there in the center. The only thing they don't have is a whole strip mall. They got dry cleaners. They got a strip mall, but they don't have a whole mall.
They don't need a mall, though. They don't need a mall.
It's the craziest thing. But you can't find that for us. anywhere in America. You know what I mean? Like you can find a little Asia, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can
That's
find
very true.
Chinatown.
Because they come together,
you know?
but 10 of them would buy
You
buildings.
can find every city. You can find little Mexico. You can find that.
Mm-hmm.
But show me little Africa. Show me little Africa. So you know what I mean? And if you do, it's gonna be derogatory. Somebody gonna come out and say something like it's very derogatory that you have little Africa up there or something like that. You know, but we have every other group, they know exactly where to go spend their money.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
In Fort Worth, they have flea markets. The Mexicans, when they have the Mexican families around here, when they have stuff, they don't have garage sales like we do. They take them to the flea market down off of Mansfield Highway. And every Saturday, you go down through there, it has to be more than about 8,000 Hispanic people all shopping and buying used goods, new goods from other people that look just like them.
Damn.
All in that one area, every single Saturday. Come rain, even right now during Corona season, right? They all down there. Come rain or snow, they all down there. They're supporting each other. And I was talking about the white families, Hispanic families, Asian families. They allow their kids to live in the house as long as they want to, because they're allowing them to build wealth. Build wealth by, hey, you know what? You take some money and put it towards some of the bills that we have in the household. You save up for when you're ready to go to buy a house. Hispanic families, they'll live in the house together, pay that house off. Then they'll give it to the elders, the eldest member of the family. Then they'll buy another house, live in that house, pay that house off, give it to the eldest member of the family until they all have houses. They do the same thing with cars. They do the same thing with businesses. Like a brother next door to my mom, there's this Hispanic guy. All his contractors are his brothers and his family members. They're all his contract. They're all skilled laborers who went to school for everything that they do. But they're when he subcontracts stuff out, he's subcontracting it to a family member because they're building wealth. We don't do that. We don't have those options. We don't even get those contracts. But that's what we have to change. And we do that by, I agree with you, Earl. I agree with you, Vinny. We do that by doing this shit ourselves and breaking away and doing our own thing. That's how we really do it, because that's the only way we're ever going to get out of this hump. Because like you said, they changed the laws. They changed the laws because the Black Panthers were doing something. Tiger Woods became the most dominant golfer in golf. So people are wondering, what's wrong with Tiger? They started building courses to his weakness. That's what happened to Tiger. They started building golf courses that played towards his weaknesses. He never evolved his game. What's wrong with Serena Williams? Her dominance is people start building against what makes you better. Like Tiger Woods hit the ball further than anybody. So what they do, they made now golf clubs and balls that make him go further so other people can compete with him. I mean, America is always going to tilt the board against us. So we have to stop wanting to play on their board and start playing on our own.
Right, playing on our own.
You know how
one main thing that the Black Panthers was doing is that they were doing community things. They were building up their people.
Right.
They were teaching
at the same time as
at
trying
the
to
same
build a
time that they
political
were bearing
force.
arms. They were teaching financial literacy. They were teaching. They had literacy programs.
Yeah.
They had kid programs. They had different things. So we're gonna have to come together and teach first before we can move forward.
Right. True. Very true. Educate. Yes.
All right. Well, in the last 4 or 5 minutes of our situation of our podcast right now, is there anybody that wants to give any kind of last minute solutions, comments, just to kind of?
I'm motion Earl in them.
Me too. I agree with that.
Hey man, kick it to him, man. Hey Earl, you out there?
Earl.
Where are you? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he on
here. And he ain't from us because he ain't on the thing. So.
Hey man, go kick with some. Go kick him with some. How we fix this shit. Radical revolutionary.
We mentioned something.
We did. That's why I said last minute, because we have completely really gotten through our solution space of our, thing. But I wanted to give everybody a chance to say anything that they might have wanted to say in the last couple minutes.
I just say we need to work together.
We do.
We need to start building bridges towards each other, start building bridges past conversations, and move to a state of moving. Yeah,
it's a trust issue, and the images have destroyed trust.
Right.
And they have helped to destroy trust. The images have helped to destroy trust. And we need to, there we go, Earl. Is that you, Earl?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
We were missing you.
Did you hear the question, Earl, that what we're talking about in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the podcast?
He gone again.
Well, damn. Okay. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy. So anyway, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what kept happening, but that was a beautiful transition because way to facilitate Miss Dr. Ron G. And Cherie, what Cherie was talking about is nation building. When she was talking about the Black Panthers. And the reason why Black Panthers practice firearm education is because if you're going to build a nation, you have to be able to protect the nation.
That's right. That's right.
We're talking about doing, we already know what they practice. They practice, look what they got. Let's go take that. We can't build it. We have to pretty much have an army. So we have to collectively realize that we are at war. Okay.
Yes, we are at war. We are at war.
Right. A lot of us don't know that though.
Right.
We are at war.
Whether you a drug dealer all the way up to a Fortune 500 corporate executive, if you are Black, you have to realize collectively that we're at war. And this is going to sound militant, but I'm sorry. This is going to sound militant. But listen, when we went through the crack epidemic, it was a Black problem.
It was.
This opioid thing is a white problem. Okay? Now it's a pandemic. Now they need some help. Well, look, like I said, if we could all realize we at war, I'm not saying do it purposefully, but it's hard to be uncorrupt in a corrupt place. Okay?
Yeah.
If you a drug dealer, you see Leon's store closing, you give Leon some money. Okay? You go help Leon out. You already, progress, not perfection. But I just say that to say, if we all realize that we at war, I vote for segregation.
We are at war. No, for real.
I second that vote, brother.
That's, you know what I'm saying?
But we can't segregate that because, like Earl said, we don't even have a food system.
Right,
so we don't have no agriculture. We don't have anything. We don't own shit. We don't own music. We you know what I'm saying?
Look, we not ready. We ain't ready just yet.
At all. We are not
but the goal, I think what Earl is saying is that the goal is to create something on our own. And so we have to figure out where we are and a path to move towards what Earl is saying.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think
you build overall, up for the revolution.
I think the overall goal, I think his overall goal though is that during segregation we have more Black-owned businesses. So if we segregate, then we create more Black-owned businesses.
Yes.
Look, our power in this country is fake as money is. As fake as the dollar bill is.
It is economic.
Our power in this country is that we spend more of it than anybody else.
Right.
So all these small business owners that don't like us in their stores but appreciate our money going through their pockets, if we stop putting it in their pockets, they'll start listening to the problem. They'll start listening, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Where are the Negroes? Where they at? So, when you talk about how to change laws and how quickly laws change, we change laws by stop spending our money with people who don't appreciate it. That's how we change laws. Like, think about this. As popular as Black hair care is, tell me 2 Black hair care companies that are really dominant in the United States.
Dudley's.
We should be running that. That should be our.
We should be running it. It is a couple, but they're not L'Oreal. They're not Clairol.
But then too, and then too, when we do like with what's old girl Carol's daughters, she sold.
She sold out. I didn't even
not even black owned anymore.
Oh my God, I didn't even know
Hey,
that.
Let's even with that
hey.
being said, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and we were talking about clothes. And a guy walked by, and he had on some H.O.O.D. I was like, "Oh, that's a nice H.O.O.D shirt, or whatever." He was like, "I don't wear rappers' clothes," but he had on Versace and all this other kind of stuff. I was like, "But you'll go buy that, and Versace
Right.
don't even make his shit for you."
He don't
I
like
was like,
you.
"At least you know that what this man is doing, he got your back." So you
Right.
change the mentality of people, like,
I don't.
because to
We
me
don't
that was
support the
stupid as hell.
niggers. We don't support the niggers. That's
On that
how
note, we appreciate you tuning in. And that's the end of our program. And we'll figure out a better way to end the program later. And that's
Peace,
it.
love, peace and love.
And yeah, everybody want to say bye?
Hood revolution, hood revolution.
Hood revolution.
revolution won't be televised. It'll be an audio.
Right.
Peace and love.
In
We love
COVID,
y'all.
anyway. In COVID.